Hello, my name is Blood Spirit, and this is Upland Inside the Game, and welcome to Oakland, California, where we are about to open up two new areas, the Berkeley area and the Alameda area. I believe that's the way you pronounce it. I'm actually from the West Coast, and I've never even heard of this area. But I'm sure people that are right there in California know exactly where it is and know a lot of different things about these areas. And we'll have the advantage, like most people in the East Coast have the advantage of New York. But here it is. And I'm going to give you the three biggest tips that I learned from the last city opening, what I would do dramatically different than what I did last time. First of all, I'm going to start by collecting all my earnings. The first tip that I would strongly recommend, and probably was my biggest mistake because I didn't fully take advantage of that, is have a budget. Go into this thing with knowing how much you are going to spend. I'm going to go into it. I'm going to purchase another 400,000 and do it before the event happens. And the reason why I say that is because I ended up in an area where once it opened up, there was nothing but unminted properties everywhere around me. Every property I could see was unminted. Nobody was minting them. It was just me in that area. And I could just do whatever I wanted to do. And I ended up with spending going in with 180,000 in UPEX, and I went through that. I found one property for, I believe it was 93,000 UPEX, and I was out. And I spent forever trying to buy in, and there was so many people doing the same thing that it was taking forever for me to actually get in. And then my credit card decided that it wanted to make sure that the purchase of that amount was accepted, and so I had to go through this texting process. I wish I would have just went in with 500,000 UPEX to start off with. That's the first thing. If you can do it, do with whatever you can. Get your budget. Be prepared that you're not going to be able to get any more out. If you end up seeing a big property, you can try, but you might not get it. I found about 6 different properties that I could have gotten that I wasn't able to get because somebody got them before I did. And I mean, I went through like 20 minutes waiting to see if to deal with my credit card. I finally had to do it a second time, and that property was still there. So if I would have had the money to start off with, I would have got those. Have a budget. Make sure that you got enough UPEX to be able to do what you want to do. First big tip. The next one is get in early. I'm already here. I'm trying to get, I'm floating towards the Alameda area. This is exciting. I'm already here. Get there the night before. The biggest challenges that you can have at this point, and I'll show you right now. If you're in San Francisco, you just flew into San Francisco right now. This instant, I just checked it a minute ago. Yep, 0. There's no remaining tickets to get you in to Oakland. They're all sold out. You cannot get in if you're in San Francisco right now. You're going to have to spend a whole lot of time just clicking, re-clicking, refreshing, clicking out, refreshing. Hopefully you will find a ticket that will pop up, and they will pop up. But there's tons of people over there waiting for it. So you being able to get into Oakland is slim to none right now. And so you want to get in there the night before. Make sure that you're getting into an area that you want to be in. I got some properties here in Oakland that I can keep hitting the resend over and over and over and get my discovery token to start heading the direction I want it to go. So there's where it's heading. It's heading to the area I don't even know how to pronounce, but by the time this opens up, depends on what area they're going to open up first, and I haven't even looked yet this morning. I wanted to get this up and out as quick as possible. I will be somewhere in this area, and maybe I'll get lucky and be in the city where the stress test is. The last but not least, do not sell your properties in those areas until everything is sold out, with the exception of the FSAs. FSAs I would sell if you want to, but even then, here's the main reason why I didn't do that. Why I did that, because when I couldn't get my credit card to go through, when I didn't have enough finances to go through, I thought the next best thing was sell the properties dirt cheap because they were selling like crazy. And so I would buy a property for 6,000. I'd add 2,000 UPIX to every property and sell them, and boom, I was selling them as fast as I was putting them on the market. And the reason why I did that is because I had a ton of properties around me. I just wanted to keep buying more properties. The problem that I had with that was I ended up selling it to a whale who got into the property, and once he got into that area, he bought them all up. Okay. Another thing that I would do, I just thought of this one, maximize your amount of send the visit to the maximum number that you can possibly get. So if you're going to let these people come into the area where you've got a bunch of whites, because they're gonna have to send and click on your property to get in, that well still would have got in. But I sold it for 8,000. If I would have had a budget and everything else, I could have got 16,000 for these properties instead of doubled what I sold them for. But when that well gets in, at least they're going to pay you on a heavy visit to get into that area so you can make some money. So those are my tips when you get into an area, especially if you find yourself in a sea of white, which you likely will, because they only are allowing so many people to get into it. It's not going to be heavily saturated. And they're about the size of the Bronx, maybe a little bit smaller. But good luck to you. There are my 3 big tips to be able to maximize the most that you can out of the opening of the 2 new areas. Thank you. My name is Blood Spirit. This is Upland Inside the Game.